I live with my husband, my boyfriend, and my boyfriend's wife, and together we have 4 happy children.
Hi guys, if you're new here, I'm Dana. I am in a polyamorous throuple with my partners Gabby and Eli.
And I'm back with a part 2 of how we told our children that we have an open marriage.
Today was my first Father's Day living with my 2 stepkids who came into my family through my partner's saga. I didn't grow up imagining I'd be a dad in a polyamorous family.
As a polyamorous woman married to a monogamous man, I get asked a lot, how does your husband let you date other men?
And because we didn't want to break up no happy home and leave children without a father, anything like that, we thought that it would be best that we all just be together.
What we settled on was that actually there's not that much we need to say. Mama loves daddy and daddy loves mama. And mama loves Jules and Jules loves mama. It really is that simple, at least for now.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Glad that you are here because we need to talk about something that is pretty messed up. Because as I have said before, if I have to see the messed up things, so do you. Them's the rules. Also, did I straighten my hair today? Yes. Does it look like it? No, because it is 90 degrees and humidity is off the charts. So we're gonna get somewhere in between wavy and straight wavy. I'm sure that you have probably noticed that over the years there has been a growing push to normalize things like polyamory, selling it as this kind of wholesome progressive lifestyle even for those with kids.
There is no Daniel Tiger episode for my parents are polyamorous. Trust me, I've seen them all. And on that note, this person asks, have you told your kids that you're polyamorous? And if you did, how did you? And how did they take it? This person has older children. My daughter's only 3. And up until this point, actually, we weren't going to tell her because I was only dating casually and it just didn't really seem relevant to her life. However, if you've been following along, you know that I met a woman and I fell in love and she met my family and they all fell in love. And so things are different now. And this is the conversation my husband and I had. There is no Daniel Tiger for my parents or poly. In other words, what do we say? How much do we say? And how do we explain this to her? And what we settled on was that actually there's not that much we need to say. Mama loves daddy and daddy loves mama. And mama loves Jules and Jules loves mama. It really is that simple, at least for now. And when she has questions, we'll answer them. But for now, I think the best thing we can do is destigmatize it within our own lives because it feels really normal and it's super healthy and happy and supportive. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing to explain away. So we're just gonna tell it like it is. Love is love is love, and more love is more love.
So to answer this question, there's only one kid in our polycule. And yes, she has her own room. We split bills just like any other couple, pretty evenly. Everyone in the house does have a job. Everyone in the polycule has a job. We are all employed. I have a regular job. I'm a barista, but I also do a lot of side hustles. My side hustles are photography. I own a small business, and I also do SW. Most of the people in the polycule do SW. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Hiking with both of my husbands.
And I'm back with a part 2 of how we told our children that we have an open marriage. If you haven't watched part 1, make sure you skedaddle your little booty to part 1 and watch it. But basically, if you're new here, my husband and I have an open marriage. We both date other people. I am also bisexual and I've had a girlfriend for about a year now. And we also have a 6 and almost 9-year-old, and we just told them as well about our little dynamic. So like I said in part 1, we wanted to make this conversation very natural, very nonchalant, not a big deal, and not weird at all. The weirder you make things, the weirder kids make things. Kids are very intuitive. So anywho, we're at the kitchen table and they're eating their hot dogs and their strawberries. I'm a nervous wreck about to poop my pants. My husband starts us off. So he starts off by saying, how we talk about all the time, how families can look different, right? And then we go into, how mommy has Jackie, this friend Jackie, who's, been hanging around for quite some time now. And they're just like, yeah, okay. Then I told them, Jackie is mommy's girlfriend. My youngest just all of a sudden goes, girlfriend. And my oldest just keeps continuing to eat his hot dog. So me thinking I need to explain it more, I'm like, okay, guys, like I have the same feelings for, Jackie as I do for Daddy. I have romantic feelings. So she's not just a friend, Jackie is Mommy's girlfriend.
And I'm sorry, but that is just a hard pass when children are involved. What single adults do in their private lives, I don't really care. I also don't want to know. If you could stop sharing that with me, it would be great. But when people start dragging kids into polyamorous setups, there's just a minefield of red flags that appear. And while the media tends to hype this up as like the next big thing or the next wave in family structures, it's often just chaotic, unstable, and harmful for the children caught in the crossfire. Articles, TV shows, and social media influencers have been trying to normalize polyamory for years. They keep advertising it as an alternative lifestyle and family structure. Back in April, TLC even came out with Poly Family, a show following two married couples, Alyssa and Tyler, and Sean and Taya, living as a polyamorous family and raising 5 kids together since around 2020. While it's marketed as this loving modern family, this show is the perfect example of why this is absolutely crazy and you shouldn't do it.
We are a closed polyamorous quad. We're only dating within ourselves and married within ourselves. We don't have any outside partners.
We never set out to live our lives like this, but we realized we could love more than one person and make our own rules as to what we want our family to look like.
Basically, the dudes here are just dating each other's wives, and everyone involved is mildly unlikable, except Sean. He is highly unlikable. The show explores their life and many...
We had this talk about, we're not going to do this.
Because it seems maybe like Sean and Alicia didn't have such a great night.
Many obstacles while navigating through this situation that they have all voluntarily entered into, by the way. In one clip, they complain about people stepping away from their family upon finding out about their new lifestyle.
We definitely lost family members. We lost friends. There's a lot of people that just don't get it.
Taya says that even introducing themselves has become a bit of a chore.
Even now, it's kind of awkward introducing ourselves to people. And it's like every person we meet, it's a new conversation we have to have and a new reaction that's going to come out of it.
This wouldn't happen if you were normal. They've been at this for 5 years, yet they're still tripping over basic boundaries. In one scene, Tyler overshares intimate details about his night with Taya in front of Alicia, who's visibly uncomfortable.
It can be a little overwhelming, being away from the baby and stuff, of course, but it was good once we got settled in. It was having fun. We also had this edible body paint stuff that I licked off of her arm.
And they really thought that adding children to this would be a great idea. The kids are where it gets grim. So Alicia and Tyler have 2 eldest children from before this polyamorous arrangement, but they allow Sean and Taya to parent and even discipline them as if they were their own children. Mind you, Taya and Sean had no children together when they entered into this little experiment. Together is a key word there, by the way. And the youngest 2 children, well, it's a coin toss.
I can tell you what I do know for sure, which is that this little baby in the back, I carried. And Alicia carried these 3 here. The 2 older ones were already around when we met. And the 2 babies, we don't know and don't care to know who their biological father is.
They claim they don't want to know who the father of the youngest children are. Because it doesn't matter, because they're all raising them together, right?
At first, I was a little bit hesitant to not know who the fathers of Barrett or Carver were.
Have you ever personally wondered about it?
Sure, I've wondered about it, but I see Sean as a wonderful daddy to the babies, and I see Tyler as a wonderful dad to them, and that's all that really matters.
Except it's not fine. In one TikTok, Sean flips out when a baby's blood type suggests Tyler is the father and not him.
Finding out that it's not biologically mine, you took something away from me you didn't even think about. It's really, really...
So much for it doesn't matter, huh? Then there's Sean trying to parent Alyssa and Tyler's older kids who aren't his. At one point in the series, the eldest daughter is grounded. And while Tyler, her actual dad, and her are interacting, Sean butts in and says that as soon as she's done eating, she needs to go downstairs because she's grounded. And Tyler just lets this happen. Although he does try to address it later, but it doesn't really go anywhere for him.
It's
how am I not supposed to think that when you're being malicious, when I get home and I just want to hang out with the kids for a minute and I can't even get that?
I feel like we have agreements and because you want to see the kids, it's okay, those agreements don't really matter to me because I work so many hours. And it's I want to see the kids, even though she's grounded and she's got to get done with her stuff and get back downstairs.
I don't want them to think, man, if I'm an adult and I mess up, they're just going to punish me and push me out.
I mean,
we need to be connected to them too.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm doing that. I'm thinking that a consequence doesn't mean that you're not cared for at home. I feel it means the complete opposite.
Sean also doesn't like it when Tyler and Alyssa refer to their own children as their children.
I should be able to talk to our kid.
We get into an argument and they use the my kids or these are our kids. Like, it does hurt.
He wants them to refer to them as everyone's children, because the kids are basically just treated as communal property, which is pretty gross. Imagine some guy just moving in and pretending to be your parent while your real parents just sit there and nod along. This family is pitched as a stable quad, but the cracks are everywhere. One pivotal point of the show is when Taya brings up that she wants to go date another woman outside of the quad, which stirs up even more drama than what we're already dealing with just at baseline level here. Everyone's fighting, Sean and Tyler, Tyler and Alyssa, Taya and Alyssa. Both marriages look like they are crumbling, all while raising small kids. And I'm just wondering why we're keeping this going, because it's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. And this family even went to see if they could all get equal parental rights over all the children involved here, which is an absolutely insane thing to do. And the lawyer told them as much when she informed the group that they would have to change legislation to make that happen. What's really weird too is during this interaction, Sean is like, oh, so Tyler would have to give up his rights over the oldest kids so I could adopt them. Why is that even a thing that you're saying right now? Because I don't think he wants to give up the rights of his own children and give them to you. It just seems like this dude does not have good intentions whatsoever and actually just wants to get as much control over everything as he possibly can. And even though things are this turbulent, they continue to think up new and creative ways to legally link themselves together for life, making quite the mess for not only themselves, but their children as well. And polyfamily isn't an outlier by any means. There's a lot of content like this online. A 2019 Truly episode featured a woman raising kids with 2 husbands. They say that their kids love this arrangement because they get twice the Christmas presents, which is just the weird thing that divorced parents say to justify their decisions. But they also tell their kids to hide their home life as much as possible from their friends.
We are pretty specific with the kids to let them know to keep it probably to a minimum, just so it's not acceptable, socially acceptable. We know that.
Great lesson. Lie about your family to avoid judgment. And then there's Mark Knob, a fitness influencer who announced on Father's Day that he fell in love with his brother-in-law, and now him, his wife, and his wife's sister's ex-husband are now polyamorous together. So this guy blew up his wife's sister's marriage, confused his kids' family dynamics, and tanked his wholesome brand. And commenters are just ripping him apart for prioritizing his boyfriend over his children and family. But while some people are just announcing that this is what their family has now become, other people make content specifically with the goal of normalizing polyamory and educating about it. One such creator is known as Cinnabunny online, but her real name is Dana, so that's what we're going to call her. So Dana is a 32-year-old TikToker who shares her polyamorous lifestyle online and just regularly overshares every part of herself with us, basically. Dana makes a lot of content revolving around polyamory, around ex work, if you know what I mean, and generally just makes a lot of content that I wonder why we're putting on the internet at all. So Dana is dating this man named Eli, who she calls her husband, but it's not actually her husband. She is actually divorcing her first husband, which is the father of her children, who also has a very shady past filled with violence and inappropriate conduct around minors. It's already very messy. But Dana has an 8-year-old daughter who lives with her and is exposed to this polyamorous lifestyle. And Dana has said in the past that she's very open with her child about her lifestyle. So while Dana and Eli are the stable adults within this household, it seems that there's a big rotation of partners and other adults who are all coming in and out of this child's life too. And they frequently bring them into their house, move them in, have live-in girlfriends and boyfriends and all of that. Dana has also allegedly hosted big slumber parties where other adults come over and spend the night. There have also been big content parties where they're coming in to create OF content. Again, while the child is in the house, there are screenshots showing Dana telling people where they can and cannot film because of her 8-year-old daughter. And Dana has also had CPS visits regarding the adult art, objects, and activities she has and engages in. Many of these people promote polyamory as this way to experience more love and connection with a greater number of people.
I just feel like the more love that you could put in, the better the outcome for the kid can be.
Okay, Then there's Truly's Love Don't Judge episode from a few years ago that has since been deleted, about a woman named Tori and her 4 live-in boyfriends.
This is Tori. She fell in love with Travis and Ethan and Mark and Chris. Their 4-way relationship is working wonders for them.
The relationship could best be described by having Tori as the hub and all of us are spokes on a giant wheel.
After Tori became pregnant by Chris,
I am currently about 23, 24 weeks pregnant. We found out a couple weeks ago that we're having a girl. We're very excited.
And so who's the father of the baby?
So Chris is the biological father. We just know that because of timing.
The 5 of them had planned to raise the baby all together. But when this baby was just a mere 5 weeks old, one of the men, Ethan, abused this child, causing a number of injuries in the young infant, including broken bones, brain bleeds, and damaged organs. According to police reports, Ethan was watching the baby, became frustrated when he couldn't get any sleep, and told police he squeezed the baby. But authorities determined the infant was attacked on at least 3 separate occasions, suffering a broken leg, arm, broken ribs, and skull fractures. She also had injuries to her lungs, liver, and had multiple brain bleeds. And remember the Poly family? Yeah, Sean, no surprise there, has his own skeletons in his closet. Court records show he's been married twice before and had 3 kids and 2 stepkids prior to these 5 children he's involved with right now. And his custody of those children was reduced in multiple instances, dropping to supervised visits after allegations of immediate danger arose, including inappropriate online chats with a minor and Sean's daughter showing distress after visits. Now, no formal charges ever came from these accusations about having inappropriate online conversations, so those are just allegations at this point. But I would say that the pattern arising is quite concerning. These aren't just messy relationships either, these are risky for kids. Poorly managed adult conflict stresses kids out, and volatile or secretive dynamics make it even worse. A 2011 study showed that kids in remarried homes often fare worse than in single-parent homes. And kids with non-biological adults in the house face higher risks of instability and abuse, 40 times more likely to be abused, 50 times more likely to die from injuries than those who live with their biological parents. And a Dutch review also found that step-parents actually pose a higher abuse risk than adoptive parents do. Frequent partner changes messes with kids' attachment, leading to lifelong issues. There's also the social stigma. Imagine explaining your parents' quad to classmates. And when adults prioritize their romantic drama, kids get neglected or exposed to inappropriate dynamics like polyfamilies oversharing or Dana's content parties. The media and even some psychologists frame polyamory as more love, more caregivers, but the data says it's more chaos, more risk. And most experts actually advise single parents to avoid dating altogether, or if they do, to take it really, really slowly. Don't introduce your children at first. Get to know this person, and above all else, you never let a new partner discipline your kids. And polyamory throws all of that right out the window. And this isn't about judging the adults' choices, although I am. It's really about protecting the kids, which they seem to really not have a concern about. And we shouldn't be clapping for setups that put children at risk. All of these people are very busy managing and maintaining their own adult relationships, to the point where I don't know how any of them actually have time for their children. And the parents who are allowing all of these adults to just rotate in and out of their home are directly disrupting their child's development and their lives, whether they want to admit that or not. Moving a married, childless couple into your home with your children and then allowing them to have full authority over those children is so unfathomably stupid that I can't quite articulate it. I'm actually having a hard time believing that all of this isn't just very elaborate satire because of how dumb it is. You aren't protecting your kids if you're allowing this. You are damaging them actively. You are also allowing adults to create relationships with your child, they might leave, you might break up, this might just be a short-term fling, and that impacts that child emotionally. A lot of people seem to have this flawed belief that if you involve more people in your child's life, your child will feel more loved. But the reality of the situation is that it's not the quantity of relationships, it's the quality of relationships that make children feel loved. When you are so busy micromanaging 5 different adult relationships, I don't believe you have any time left for your children. I really don't think there's anything deep and meaningful happening within polyamorous relationships at all. It's just a lot of people who want to have affairs. There's even a clip from Polyfamily where Taya is explaining explicitly that she does not know how to be intimate with Tyler without having sex.
Him and I have always really bonded over our intimacy, and that's how we connect, but we haven't been able to do that since I've been healing from surgery, and it kind of leaves me feeling insecure because I don't know how else to connect with him when what we would normally do is not an option.
Which just proves my point, because real intimacy requires real vulnerability, and it has nothing to do with a sexual relationship at all. And I don't think you can have that type of deep bond with 12 different people. I just don't believe that. I think you get a couple people that you can have that kind of relationship with, that they know every single part of you, they've seen every single part of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, the sad, and they still want to be around, and they still like you, and they want to hang out. Those relationships are special, and they should be special, and it actually shouldn't be something that you do share with 12 different people. I came from a weird family background, and I'm very much somebody who believes you can kind of build the family that you're lacking. But not like this. Not like this. What are we doing? And a lot of this is justifying their choices and convincing themselves that they've made the right one, when it's clear that they haven't. Because if you had made the right decision, you would probably feel a bit better, and this would all be more functional, but it's not. Also, polyfamily, this whole thing where they don't want to know who the father is because they're all raising them together, that's not the reason. It's because they're all so freaking insecure that they can't know who the dad is, because then the fathers will treat those children differently. Otherwise, you could find out who was the father and have no issues. But because you are also dysfunctionally insecure, you are going to now deprive these children of knowing who their actual father is, of knowing what their medical history is in their family, of understanding the relationships around them and where they fit into that, confusing their worldview and themselves and their place in the world. And all of that is basically so Tyler and Taya can have an affair, because it doesn't seem like anybody else really likes each other a whole lot. I think the push to normalize this is really just an attempt for adults who have made these decisions to just feel better about them and not feel guilty for really leaning into some selfish desires on their own part. Because none of this is done for the children or because it's good for the children. It's done because the adults like it. They get to have their cake and eat it too, and pretend that they haven't blown up their family. And good luck when the bomb really does detonate and it all goes belly up. Because my God, these kids are going to have a hell of a time trying to work through that mentally, and I'm sure the adults won't help them through it whatsoever. So that is my take, and I would love to know yours down below. What do you think about polyamory in general? What do you think about polyamorous families? Do you think it could work? Do you think it's inherently harmful? Do you also want people to stop sharing so much of themselves online? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you thought this video was worthwhile. As always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Also, I am switching to Monday uploads because it's easier for my schedule. So that's why you see me today and not last Friday. Okay, bye.